Hi guys, welcome to the flight today, as we're in the Felis 747-200 Virgin Atlantic, and we're at Gatwick Airport as we're going to do a flight to Montego Bay, Jamaica. So as we leave out of the runway, we're going to be departing out just on the runway just ahead of us. As we leave out of Gatwick, we're going to be following out onto the departure where we're going to be heading to Novma. And then we should be coming down just past Kingston as we track the BOR inbound to intercept, and then we'll run the approach round and intercept for 07 down in Montego Bay, Jamaica. So don't forget to like and subscribe guys if you'd like to support the channel, and I appreciate everybody's support with the channel so far. Now in the 747 cockpit as we're going to get ready to pre-flight procedures. So we'll go overhead, we'll get the battery on a guard, we'll check the battery and the APU, which is all set and checked for us. Go and do the squib test along with the fire tests, double up on those, and go and open up the APU to get that ready and on. As it gets ready to start, we can check the APU oil quantities 2.5 quarts, which is checked and set. The APU bleed is off, and now lights are out and ready to go. We can get the APU all fired up. See the RPM and EGT now starting to increase. Zone 1 reset fan can go on, which is checked. Get the gas on as well, which is also set. Get the master trim air, which is correct and on, and with the temperatures, once the aircraft does come through over on the APU side, we'll get everything else set and ready to go. So as the APU now comes down, we're going to get ready to switch it over. So as we switch over now, we can see the temperatures now, which are fine. We do the isolation test, so the APU bleed can come on now. We'll switch off isolation 1, isolation 2. So that's all checked and fine for us. 5 directors are off. The INS can be aligned. So what I'm going to do is we'll get the panel lights and everything all on for the aircraft. We'll do all of our tests. And then once we get the aircraft all on, we're all ready to go. So standby power now can go on, which will be set and checked. Overhead we can put the IRSs to align. Get the radio master bus, which is on, and the packs for the window heat can come on as well. Lights will go out. We can get the nav and logo light, which is on and checked, and seatbelt signs, etc. can go on. So lights out, that's fine. They'll work off in the background. Emergency exit lights can be armed. Body gear steering is going to be armed as well, and anti-skid is on also. So we'll do our max speed warning, over rotation test. Do the stall warning test, which will be checked. As we've got electrics over now, we can start to test the autopilot's functions, which will be set for us. We can do the ground proximity.
Pull up. Glide slope. Glide slope.
Which is here. Which is checked. Can test everything over. On our displays, we get the radio altimeter height, which is checked and set. Now we get the first flight engineer's panel wall set on as well. So from there, we've got the galley power, which can all go on, which is checked. Flight level, which we're going to set now, we're going to initially just go up for 320, and then we're going to fly up for 350. So we'll put 35 in all the way, as that needs to be for 36. Outflow valve check, so we can test the outflow valves. Go to manual, close the left, close the right, manual left, close, manual right, close, back to auto, which is checked. Isolation valve switches, which are on, and we can get pack number 2, which can also go on as well. Engine bleeds open and valve closed light extinguished. Equipment cooling is normal. Blower select test is normal, and we've got the equipment cooling valve, which is closed and checked. We can test that off. We can test the overheats as well for system 1 and 2, which is also checked. And we're also going to get the cargo heat, which will be normal for number 4. So we can get the hydraulics on. Should be to auto. Number 4 is press light extinguished, normal brake, normal guard closed. So normal brakes will select guard closed, select system 1 light is out, and jettison panel is all closed, which is checked. Hydraulic test, we can check the quantity. So quantity is in the green band. Once hydraulics come on, we'll check the pressure to be in the green band as well. We get all the boost pumps on now, which are all set and checked, and we can get the autopilot ready to go. So we've got the IRSs which are aligned, so I'm going to go on to remote for all 3. Then we're going to go to position, and we'll see if it puts it in on all three of them. So we've got north 51094, and that's going to give us west 101. Okay, we'll plug that in, see if that came on number 2 as well. So we'll have to put them all in individually. So north 51094 and west 101. Down to number 5. So we've got north 51094 and we've got west 101. So we'll insert that, wait for all three of them to align, go to our waypoints now. So we're going to be leaving out and we're going for the Nodra departure. So we're going to depart out, runway heading, and we're going to follow the 247 to intercept for the 243 to Midhurst. Once we get to Midhurst, we're going to go back to 257, and I'm going to let the Seaver, once we hit Midhurst, come in, and 4000 will then climb up. So should be all ready to go and all set. So from there we can get the METARs for Gatwick today, which is 100 on all of the altimeters. So pressure's quite low today. So 100. 100 should be on the first officer side as well. And that is going to be 2953. Okay, so 2953, which is also set and checked. And we'll just leave it down for 100 there, which is all set and checked for us. So MCP for our speeds coming out, takeoff speeds we've got from the load sheet coming out flaps 20. This will be the closest takeoff that we've done, which is 2905 on the required runway, and the corrected is 2924. So it's going to be very close. We're coming out for rotates 161, V2's 170 plus 10, which is going to give us 180, which is checked. We've got flight directors which are on. We can see we're going to be using 9 degrees of initial pitch, so we can get that over. So there's around 9 degrees, just under 10, which is also set. Heading modes in, we're going to be leaving on to the 257. Which is also set and checked. And then from there we've got the MCP headings. We're going to be intercepting onto Midhurst, which is going to be the 243. So we'll get the 243. And the frequency is 1140. Okay, 1140. So we can see that the RMI is basically parallel. The VOR is to us, as we're going to be taking off in that direction. So we're going to hold 243 for 4,000 feet below, and then once we get to Nova, that's when we're then going to accelerate max 250. So we need 250 for our clean speed. So we are going to be rocketing out today. Max takeoff, packs will be off as well, and we'll be all set and ready to go. So we've got one more. So we're going to get the waypoints all in for the departures, quite a lot of waypoints, so we will get them all in and ready to go. We're going to be going to Novma, which is north 5102. And it's going to be west 452. Waypoint number 2 is going to give us to Southampton, which is north 5057. And we've got west 1207. Waypoint number 3, as we come through, we'll be going direct down to Somax, which is north 50000, and that's going to give us west 15000. From there we've got the Jupi, which is going to be north 48300. And we've got west 52000. Okay, so I'm going to do the first 3 waypoints as they're quite far enough anyway, and we don't need to go through them. We'll update them as we go along. So from there we are going to get ready to go. So navigation mode is set to heading. We can go over now. See the IRSs are all aligned, so we can set them all over to nav. Now the PFD, everything will come in. So initial altitude we're going to be setting for 4,000 feet, which is set. Naps via while we've got 1140 for Midhurst, we set to 243. We're going to be holding below 4,000 below, which is then going to take us all the way to Novma, and then Novma we're going to follow from Midhurst onto the 257. So we're going to be leaving out on the runway heading inset to 243 for Midhurst, and then from Midhurst we go back to the 257 to Novma. From Novma, that's where I'm going to turn on the INS, and then we'll be all ready to go. So just check to make sure all the waypoints are there. So the 3 waypoints did go in on all 3, which is fine. Seatbelt sounds, no smoking, which are on and checked. EPR thrust mode comp, we can arm the EPRL. We are going to be going to full takeoff, so go around is going to be on. And we don't need no reduction, as now the EPR decrease is 10 from 6 from the new update, which is absolutely great because we did use it in the up and coming flight, which we're going to be using for the Pacific, Cathay Pacific, I think, going from Frankfurt to Milan. So that should be really nice and good for us today. So 180 for V2 plus 10. And what we can do now is we'll go to our checklist and we'll get the before start flight engineer all ready to go.
Battery on. APU panel.
Check.
Check. Auxiliary power. Check. Engine oil quantity. Check. Fuel quantity. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 1 kilograms. Fuel panel. Check and set. Pressurization controls. Check and set. Bleed controls. Check and set. Hydraulic quantity. Check. EPR computer.
Go around.
Go around. Circuit breakers. Check. Indicator lights. Check. Electrical panel.
Check.
Check and set. Air conditioning controls. Check and set. Fire control and wing overheat panels.
Check.
Check and set. Equipment cooling. Check.
Checked.
Passenger oxygen. Check. Hydraulic panel. This. Check and set. Fuel jettison panel. Check.
Checked.
Crew oxygen. On. Oxygen mask and regulator. Check and emergency off. ADPs off. Checklist completed.
Okay, so checklist is complete. So we can now go to our before start. We'll get the tug now ready to roll up and we'll get ready to depart. So we'll hide now everything on for the ground crew. We can shut now close cargo 1, 2 and 3, which are set. Everything's off there, there's no chocks on, so we can go and call the ground crew to come and tug us away. On, lights on, which are checked. Packs 1 and 3, which are closed. Electric hydraulic pump system 4 on, required for start. So it is on. Galley power's all off, which is checked. And beacon light, which can go on for the start. So beacon light's on, start
ready to start the engines. Ready for engine start.
And now we just
okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
5.9 degree on the stabilizer, 9 degrees of pitch, which is set. 1000, which is set on the Q&H's, and we've got 4,000 feet for our initial twin set Midhurst onto the 1140, onto the 243 track heading. We'll leave that on the 257, and we've got V2 plus 10, which is 170, so plus 10 will be 180. We've got 250 for our clean speeds as well, we're leaving out. And as we can see, flaps 10's 190, 210 for flaps 5. So the aircraft's now getting lifted up, and I'll show you outside view of the engines starting up when we do pushback.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Okay.
Parking brake released.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Okay, so we'll now start pushback. Okay, go for engine number
Starting
2.
engine 2.
Starter valve open.
Okay, N2's increasing, and we can go outside and catch engine number 2.
Close, stand by.
Starter valve open.
Start 2 and 4.
Starting
now.
engine 4.
Starter valve
We'll
open.
go and watch engine number 3. And we will go over and check everything all set.
Felis disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Too soon, goodbye. So for the gens 1, 2, 3 and 4 which are set, we can close the relay switches which are checked and set. System breaker switch can be turned off now, which is checked and set. APU bleed and the APU can come off, which is checked. ESS AC bus to normal. Packs 1, 2 and 3 can now go on, which are checked. And we are ready for all of our departures. So hydraulics can come on. We've all got them in the green bands, which are checked, and we've also got hydraulic quantity in the green band. Flight directors are both on. Flight director pitch is 9 degrees. Anti-ice stab trim is going to be 5.4. So we can get the control column and go for 5.4. Okay, which is also set and checked. Probe heats, weather radar can go on as well, so between 5 to 6 degrees we can turn that on. And we've got the probe heats which can now be set to on as well. So probe heats are on, anti-skids are on, body gear steering's armed, which is checked, ready for taxi. And we are now all ready to go. Beacons on, strobes will be on after we cross over. Fuel heats off, APU's off, auto brakes are off. And PA identifier set. So, PA, I'm going to leave the nav off, so I don't want that bracketing around. And 100, which is also set and checked for us to go. So, on for our taxi charts. As we taxi on down to the runway, we're going to be going to the 26 left. So, we'll come down Kilo, we'll take a left onto November, and then we'll come through onto that Alpha November, and line up just short off of the Alpha 3. So that is how we are going to do things. We could go on to Mike 3 as we do need all of the runway, so we'll probably go for Mike 3. As we can see on the AVI tab for our takeoff, our speeds are basically, I think that's going to set the V2 back, so that'll go to 180. 2905 required runway, corrected runway 2924. So we're going to need every bit of runway that we need, as we're going to come out super heavy, which is why we're not going out on 10 degrees of pitch. We're going to be coming out on 9 degrees, as the aircraft is very heavy today. So we're going to come out, take those left-hand turns, so we can now release the brakes. And we're powering up now to runway 26 left. And whilst we do that, we'll take a window shot. So November is right here as we taxi out. We're taking that left-hand turn, as you can see on the AVI tab. So first left's going to be for us. And we'll see how far we get close to the runway when we come through. We rotate is at 160 odd, so it's going to be a very tight one today. So we'll take the far left so we've got room to spin. You can see there's a lovely bridge. Okay, so as you can see, we've just made that left. I'm going to take a third left, coming through. So we're currently on the Papa 1. I'm going to take a third left. So we're going to go right the way down to the start, as we need all of the runway. So as you can see, I'm going to come through. We do need to go over to Mike. So we can just take that extra little bit off the runway. So just make a slight left. So here's Mike on the right hand turn. As we come over now onto the whole, strobes are on, runway turn-offs can go on, which are checked and set. I've only come this way all the way to the end of the runway as I want to make sure we get all of the runway ready today. So packs can now be turned off, which are checked. Okay, so now we are here, we can put on our parking brake, which is checked. We go to our checklist. So we go to our before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist. Icing considerations.
Checked.
Check. Cabin alert. Check. Transponder.
Which will be set.
Damn. Check. Ignition.
Flight start.
Damn. Flight start. Body gear steering.
Disarmed.
Disarm. Pack valves.
Closed.
Closed. Pressurization mode selector. Auto. Fuel boost pumps.
On.
On. Cross feed valves. Let's see.
Okay, so we'll take these two back.
Check. Before takeoff checklist completed.
Okay, so before takeoff checklist complete, so we're going to leave out the runway onto the 257, and then once we intercept onto the 243, we're then going to follow to Midhurst and we'll activate the INS ready for us to go up. So we have got flaps 20, which is set in. We can release
parking brake released.
Can go up to 1.10 on the EPR.
Stabilized.
Stabilized and toga.
Cross set.
Checked. Airspeed live.
80 knots.
knots, he's back on the column.
V1.
Rotate.
Let's rotate.
Positive rate.
Gear up.
Gear up.
Okay, so as we're going to follow the 257 now, just passing 400 feet as we're coming through from V2, we're going to put up to 250, which we need, which is also set. We've got the autopilot.
Gears
now,
up.
and the VOR lock can go in as well, as we are going to now intercept, which will bring us on to Midhurst. So slowly coming through now onto around 10 degrees of pitch. We need to go to 4,000 feet. So as we just lower down, slow down our vertical speed so we can get our pitch to drop just that little bit more. So just around 1500 we can now go to our flaps 10.
Flaps 10.
Which is checked. Gear is now off. Which is also set and checked, and we can go to our after takeoff checklist.
After takeoff checklist.
Gear lever. Off. Landing and logo lights. Damn. Ignition.
Checked.
Check. Seat belts and no smoking sign. Check.
Check.
Back valves. This. Open. Fuel heat. Wait.
Fuel heat can now go to auto as well.
Auto.
Checked.
After takeoff checklist completed.
Okay, so go to flaps 5 now.
1000 level off. Flaps
So
1.
flaps 1 and 250 is going to be our climb speed, so we can go to cruise now. Climb, sorry. There we go. And on EPR, so we're going to go for speed. So we're going to hold 250 now, intercepting onto Midhurst, currently 10 nautical miles away. So we're going to hold 250 now, which is our clean speed. That's going to be fully retracted.
Flaps up.
After takeoff checklist is complete, and we're now on our way up to Midhurst, holding for 4,000 feet. Currently got the aircraft, I'm going to leave it into climb mode, as we're not going to be cruising right now. This is our 350, so 4,000 feet until we get to Midhurst. We're now intercepted it, we've got 243, which is in. So over on the track. And then once we pass Midhurst, I'm going to then activate INS, which can bring us through onto Runway 7 inbound. So that's pretty much it for the departure, guys. If we really wanted to now, we could say that we've been cleared up. So if it was cleared up by now, we could say that we're going to go up to, we're cleared to 25,000. Let's just say, for instance, what we could do is we could set EPR, and then by putting in the speed mode, we will hold 250 and now climb at our max rate of ascent. So passing through 4,005. Can now switch QNHs back over to 29902. Set and checked. I'm going to go on the first officer side. 29902, which is also set and checked. As we're now climbing 250, once past 10,000 feet, we're then get the landing lights off and we'll climb up to our max speed, which will then set in on the MCP. So that's pretty much it now, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the CVOL ready to go. 0 to 1, which will be in, so put the INS in now. The CVOL will just realign itself, ready for the 257. So that is pretty much it now, as we're just rolling past through the Nevra. And I'll see you guys for the takeoff cinematics, then I'll catch you at the top of December, ready to come in for Montego Bay, Jamaica. So I'll see you guys when we get back. flight deck. We are currently going to start our descent. We are around 137 nautical miles from Sangster, which is right here on DME number 2. Now it's come to life, and we've got the Manly VOL, which we're tracking inbound onto the 273, which is currently 72 nautical miles away. So I'm going to start to get the aircraft fully prepared. We're going to start to get the descent and everything all ready. So we're going to be going down for 15,000 feet, which is going to be set. And we'll go into vertical speed mode. And we'll start to now descend down around 1,500 feet per minute. We'll start. Throttles will now start to idle back. As we are currently still in nav mode, tracking down to Manly. We're currently 68 nautical miles from Manly. And now what we can do is we'll get the before descent checklist. So we've got the descent calculations. So on HSI 5 times 525, we're looking for around 2,500 feet per minute. So what we can do is we can slow that down to 400 mile ground speed. So we'll start to slow the aircraft down to around 275. We're going to put speed brakes now to get that all initiated, and we are now currently 133 from Sangster, which we are now starting to slow on our ground speed. We'll get that down to around 400, and then what we'll do is we'll then start to lower our descent down to 2,000 feet per minute, which will be 4 times 5, which will be set. We've got the descent, which is going to start 137. We could do from 300, we're going down to 15. So going to be burned on 15,000 feet, which will be roughly around 45 nautical miles down, so 1,500 will be fine for now. As we pass through flight level 283, and the aircraft is slowly now going to start to make its way down. So we're going to speed mode, and we're going to go around. As we're going to go down now, throttles will start to idle back. As speed brakes are open, and we'll slow down to our 275, looking for around 400 on the HSI for our ground speed, currently 57 nautical miles. So we've got the radio altimeters we're going to set to the approach minimums. We get the METARs up for Sangster. We can see that we've got 1012, which is going to be in, passing through flight level 180, so we'll switch that in, that'll be 230 or something like that. And once we've done that, we've got winds currently 150 at 8 knots, a few clouds at 2,000, scattered at 2,200 kilometers. And apart from that, we are pretty much all set to go. So let's just have a look and see what 1012 is. So 1012 is going to be 2988. Okay, so we're going to put 2988. Which will leave us around about there, which will be checked coming in, and it'll be 2988. Okay, which is set and checked. Currently now coming in just under 40 nautical miles. We'll run it in, and I'll show you how to do the VOR lock as we come into the arrival, as I'll show you after we've done with our checklist. So anti-ice is on as it is below 10, just currently coming in through minus 10 now. Auto brakes are going to come into medium, which are set and checked. The arrival star is discussed, so we're pretty much going to come in. We're going to track inbound to Sangster VOR on the 1157, which we are currently 114 nautical miles out from. We're going to track that inbound onto the 289. Once we get to the 289, once we get to the VOR, we're then going to make a left-hand turn just onto 280, and then we're going to follow directly 11 nautical miles from the VOR DME to make that left-hand turn, then to intercept onto the 072 for our initial fix at Maxi. So we'll be at 4,600 feet once we get to the Sangster VOR. We're then going to follow it down onto the 280 for 11 nautical miles. As we can see, 11 nautical miles from the Sierra India Alpha, and that's where we are then going to make that left-hand turn, which is then going to take us onto the 072. And we're going to intercept then on the descent for 1,800 feet, 7 DME from the localizer, which is the India Sierra India Alpha. So from there now, you can take the speed brakes, which are all in. The throttles can now start to relax. 39 nautical miles. We get to see some lovely scenery. There is some clouds in the vicinity as we are on our way down. Currently now through 23,000 feet. So just going to start to lower up the vertical speed as we go down to 1,000 feet per minute. Over on the arrival we can see that we are just going to get ready to come in from Manly, and then we're going to basically make a right hand turn to intercept in for the VOR down into lovely Sangster. So we can see that we've got Sangster, which is just over there now to our right, which is just a few degrees off. As with 35 nautical miles, we will then be turning onto the 08 track, which is going to be the 289, and then we're going to follow that into the Sangster VOR. So we can still see there 11 DME from the Sierra India Alpha. We're going to make that right hand turn to come in. So as we just go past some lovely mountains now, passing flight level 220. Cabin altitude set to food QNH, which is checked and set 2988. We get the minimums in for the arrival. Our minimums today is going to be 300 foot, so 304 MDA for 300 foot decision height. So we can set 300 foot decision height. Over on the radio altimeter, which is also set and checked, for 1013, which is set on all of the displays, and we are currently now inbound just to Manly, 29 nautical miles to go. So as we come inbound, we've got Sangster, which is just going to basically roll over, and we're going to move over to track it then inbound onto the 289. From there, on our top of descent, we are currently in speed mode. We've got the EPRL mode, which is on to go around as we've left cruise, and we are set now on VS, coming down 1,000 feet per minute for 15,000 feet. As we can see on the arrival, we need to get down for 15,000 feet when we are currently 15 DME from the VOR. So we're currently coming down for flight level 210, as we've got some lovely mountainous areas over onto our right hand side. We can see on the RMI now the needle starting to come round over to the right, which is telling us now that the VOR is going past us very slowly, which should stay on course. So when you see the, if we was going to track onto a different track, basically let's see where the RMI is, and then we can know whether we're going to be onto the left or the right of it. So right now we're on the left side of Sangster VOR, and when we want to come in to intercept it over onto the 289, we're going to basically start to roll over around to probably 340 on the heading. So we'll get that all set, tracked in. So 20 nautical miles out, we are currently 91 nautical miles. We could switch now and go over to Sangster, but I'm not going to do that as we're going to need to change our heading as well. So currently now 18.8 DME from Sangster Airport. 10,000 feet, we then get our landing lights etc. all on, passing flight level 200, flight level 180, we're going to get the QNHs over to 1012, which is going to be 299.8 on our altimeters, which are set MDA 304 for a 300 foot decision height, and we're currently holding 275 as we come down, 375 on our HSI for ground speed, and we're currently 87 nautical miles from the VOR for Sangster. So coming in now on the checklist, our target altitude, which is set currently 150 for 15 nautical miles at Sierra India Alpha VOR, which is checked. No smoking seatbelt signs can now come on, which are checked. Landing lights will be on under 10,000, which will be set, and fuel heat can then come off. So fuel heat's off as it is at the moment, which is already set. EPRL mode is set to go around, and engine ignition that can go on. So get the engine ignition on, which is set, passing through 19,003. I'm going to set the QNHs over in just a few moments time. We're coming in for auto brake medium. We can go and have a look on the landing for the performance. So we're going to come in as we've got medium or max. We'll take medium. Coming in, we've got flaps 30, and we're going to be coming in for 162 flaps 30 plus 5, 167. So we will do max today, as we're going to come in nice and hot. We can set the minimum manoeuvring speed, and we are now all prepared to come in. So 7 nautical miles away, we can see the RMI for Sangster. So we're going to make a right hand turn just onto around the 333, just near in between north and 333. As we get ready now, 6 nautical miles, as we're not going to let the lock basically take us there, as we're going to need to move right over. Good to see what happens. So we are in VOR lock now, so we're going to be coming on to the 289, but we're going to want to move over to around the between the 33 and north, so we're going to go around to north. As we can see the RMI, and then we'll be basically getting ready to intercept onto the left. So I'm going to put the 289 in. The aircraft should follow it around. If it doesn't, then it will go back into heading mode, and we'll be able to then track inbound. So we'll get the Sangster VOR, which is going to be the 1157. As you can see now, we're going to move over and get ready to intercept. We're going to be tracking inbound onto the 289, so we've got heading select, which is going to go in, and we've got a VOR lock, which is armed. So we are in heading select right now. We're going to go over to 3559, which is then going to bring us so we can intercept ready inbound for the 289. So we can see on the RMI now the needle is now moving over to the left, so Sangster is basically moving that direction away from us, and once we get in line then we'll start to see the needle etc start to move back. So we're just taking a little wider angle, as even though we're intercepting onto the 289 and it looks like we're going 90 degrees offset, the RMI needle for Sangster VOR is realistically just over to the left of us, which isn't really that far. So now we are going to get ready to intercept. We've got a VOR lock which is already in still, and we're coming down for 15,000 feet, sorry, which will be altitude select. Passing through 18,000, we can now get the QNHs set back over, which is 2988, which is set. And we've got 2988 over for the first officers as well. We've got 2988, which is set and cross-checked. And now what we can do is we can go into our descent checklist.
Approach checklist, please.
Seatbelts and shoulder harness.
Check.
Check. Seatbelts and no smoking signs.
On.
Anti-ice.
On.
On. Exterior lights.
Checked.
Check. Outer brakes.
Max.
Maximum. 1000 level off.
Radio INS switches.
Radio.
Radio.
Flight director computer selectors.
Checked.
Brake pressure.
Check.
Checked.
Spoilers.
Hold on.
Spoilers are armed.
Altimeters.
1012. Set and cross-check.
Landing data, EPR and airspeed bugs.
Checked.
Set and cross-check.
Seatbelt and shoulder harness.
Checked.
Check. Fuel panel.
Checked.
Check. Fuel heat.
Off.
Off. EPR computer.
Go round.
Go around. Cabin altitude.
Checked.
Check. Circuit breakers.
Checked.
Approach checklist completed.
Okay, so the approach checklist is now completed, and when we come in we are going to basically 15 nautical miles from the Sangster VOR. That's where we need to be at 15,000 feet, and then we're going to start that descent down to 4,600 by the time we get down for the VOR. So it'll be a sharp descent around. As we're now getting ready to intercept, the VOR lock has come in, as we're now going to hold down for 15,000 feet. So you can see why we moved over to the 359, even though it looked like a steep angle. It was just to keep us over to the right of the RMI for Sangster. So say Sangster's right here, we're going to come here, and there's our course. So once we come straight, we'll then turn to intercept over onto the left-hand side. I'll do a tutorial so you guys can understand, but this, the RMI, the radio magnetic indicator, that is a very, very, very handy piece of kit. Especially as you saw, we had no DME reference, but the RMI was on, so that was really nice to be able to do. 275 now, we are at flight level 150. We're currently 60 nautical miles off now as the aircraft intercepts onto the 289 course for Sangster VOR. We'll go for the approach checklist. We'll be on speed for the approach, which we're already on now. We've got our speed brakes which are armed. Once we come down to our clean speed, which will be around on for the landing approach, we've got clean speeds 262, and flaps 1 will be coming down for 142. So now the aircraft's VOR lock autopilot is intercepting now, ready for us to come in. As we are now level 4, 15,000 feet. You can see now the needle has just come on, so you see why the RMI needle was very handy, because we was able to plan ahead before we even intercepted. So we've done our approach checklist. We are pretty much quite far out. We are coming down into land now as we're 54 nautical miles, 15,000 feet, which is SAT that we're holding as we now come through onto that lovely arrival. The arrival we're going to do manually, pretty much with the VOR, with the VOR lock and our heading. So what's going to happen is, once we track in to the 289, which we are tracking inbound now, we're going to get there at 15 DME. We need to be at 15,000 above, and once we get down to the VMR, we are going to be at 4,600 feet. Once we get there, we're going to change our course as we're coming inbound onto the 289. We're going to change our course onto the 280. We'll let the VOR lock then track us outbound away from the VOR, and then once we get 11 nautical miles on either DME, we'll have DME 1 in for Sangster. Once we make that left-hand turn at 11 nautical miles, we're then going to turn on to the 072 with a maxi, which is our initial fix, and then we're going to intercept for the runway. We'll start descending down once we get to a maxi from 3,000 to 1,800, which will then intercept the glide slope. On for our max speeds, we can have a look and see if we've got any speed restrictions, which I can't seem to see at the moment. We've got our minimum set for 300 on the decision height, and we've got 167, so ground speed probably looking around 1,000 feet per minute, which will be setting for us 45 nautical miles. Ground speed's 350 as we get ready to come down into a lovely Sangster International Airport, Montego Bay. Been to Jamaica a few times some years ago, and lovely place to visit. Lovely and tropical, hot, great people, great hospitality. Everyone's so friendly, and they'll go out their way for you. It's very, very nice. And this is where we're going today, so we're going to be landing on the same runway that I've actually gone down. 15 DME, we're going to start the descent. We could probably start it now at around 20. So we're going down to 4,006. Okay, 4,006, which is set with vertical speeding. As we see on the HSI, 357, so we're looking around 1,400 feet per minute. So there's 1,000, there's 1,500, which is set and checked. And as we start, we'll come down through 10,000 feet, and then we'll slow down to 250. 20 nautical miles, 15 nautical miles, we're going to be 15,000 feet above. So I'm just going to start the descent now, as we are only 5 nautical miles out. Done the descent checklist, which is all set for us, and we're coming in for a flaps 30, which is going to be giving us a 167 plus wind correction. So we've got 1012. Temperature down in Sangster is 25 degrees, and the winds currently are 150 at 08. Okay, which is all checked. We're going to come in for max anyway, as we're coming in for 167, which is all there. So we are all ready to go pretty much. So we can see we've got 2,000 meters with max, and we've got 1,000 to spare once we come down. So it should give us a little bit of leeway to get a nice little flaring as we come down into the runway. So 15,000 feet with left now, coming through 14 DME. We'll start to slow the aircraft up now to 250, which will be set. And we'll slow our set descent rate just a little more as we start to come down into lovely Sangster International Airport. So cabin crew prepare for arrival. There's 12,007, be 250 under. We can now get the landing lights in, as we're going to be passing through 10,000 in just a short space of time. As we're 11 DME now, and we're going to slow the aircraft right up now. So 267 was on for the clean speed. I'm going to go down for 242, and we can open up a flaps 1. So one thing I'll show you as well, we'll see if alpha pops up. What alpha is basically is sort of like a safety feature, we could call it. if you go lower below your slat retraction speed and you don't open the slats, what will happen is basically the aircraft, when you haven't dropped the flaps, will go into alpha mode, so it won't allow the aircraft to slow down any further, even if you have it down to 100 on the auto throttle speed. If alpha pops up on the auto throttle, that pretty much means that it's in its protection mode, and I think flaps up, I think it's VREF plus 80 and then goes down through the flap sections. But if you see alpha, that means you're going lower on your speed than you really need to. So we need to be down for 4,003 as we come down for 10,000, so I'm going to drop into a flaps 1 as we're not very far away now. It's coming through 10,000 feet, which is going to be set, and we're currently coming down at 2,000 feet per minute. Around 16 nautical miles away, we're going to be turning onto the 280, which we will get set as we've got the nav already in. 4 nautical miles to go. We'll get the 280 in just a few moments time. We can see now that we've got the ILS frequency, which is in as well, and on the left we've got the Sangster, which is the Sierra India Alpha. So just passing 9,000 feet now. Going to be coming down to 4,006, and that's going to then take us down to 3,000. We can continue the descent down as we come through. And we'll get flaps 5 in.
Flaps 5.
Which is set and check. Speed brakes are armed and auto brake is set full max. So we're going to be coming in on the 280, which is set. And we get the 280, which is in as well. So the aircraft should stay in VOR lock mode and should then go over to the left. As we're so close to the VOR, it is going to be quite sensitive at first. The aircraft should then come in, so we'll just backtrack over around 15 degrees if we needed to, but as the VOR lock is in, it's basically going to track now the 280. So as we follow outbound, needle will start getting less sensitive the further we move away. So the aircraft's now going to track the 280, and we're going to hit that down for 11 nautical miles. Flaps 5, which is in, as the aircraft's just basically levelling itself now. As we're so close to the VOR, it's going to be very sensitive, so as the aircraft moves further away, the signal will get a lot less sensitive. So it's going to make a slight right, then go on to a left, and line us up onto 280. So there's a 280, which is in. The aircraft will track that outbound, passing 5,006. We need to come down to around 3,000 feet. Currently down in flaps 5, and what we can do is we'll go down into a flaps 10. So we can get the aircraft fully configured. We're going to get down for 3,000 feet once we get to 11 DME. Once we get to 11 DME, we're then going to go down to 1,800 feet, where then the aircraft will hit the glide over at 7 DME from the ILS. We'll switch the ILS over, which is going to be the 10950, which we've got on DME number 2, and from DME number 2 now, we are going to be all set to come in for the arrival. So 11 DME, we're going to make that turn onto the 072, and that's going to bring us down all the way to Napa, which is going to be at 7 DME.
1,000 to level off.
Flaps 5 can go in, 1,000 to level off. There's 9 DME out now from the Sierra India Alpha. The 109.5, which will come in just a short few moments. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into heading mode. 109.5, which is in, and as we are now ready to go into that right hand turn, we'll go on to the 072. You can also put the ILS on now. So glide slope's already coming, but we could wait until we line up. As we've got it in now, we've got the 072, which is going to come inbound with it. Which is checked. there's a flaps 10 coming in now, 3,000 feet. We need to go down to 1,008, which will then leave us by the time we get round to 7 DME for the glide slope. So what we'll do is we'll just keep it onto heading for the moment. Let the vertical speed down, put the head select in 1,800, which
Glide
is in as
slope
well.
alive.
Glide slope alive, so as we come around the bend, I'm going to put the ILS and rearm it now. As we come round onto the lovely runway, so you should see the localizer come to life, which will be coming in on the 072. 14 nautical miles away now, as we come into that right hand bend. It's passing 2,400 feet, so we'll lower up on the descent as we're going to come down for 1,800 by the time we get down to the VOR, which is going to be 7 DME. So currently 1,008 for 2,003. And we should see a localizer which will come to life at any moment. I'm not going to look at the AVI tab, so we can get the aircraft all ready and set to go. So we are a little low, as we would have descended at 3,000 feet down at 11 DME. So I'm going to get in ready for our flap extension, as we are flying just a little low to the aircraft. So we'll take 2,000, which will hold, as 11 DME was going to go for 3. So we'll see if we just hold out, wait for the localizer to activate.
Terrain, terrain. Pull up.
There's the localizer come in now, as we now move over to intercept for the runway. So we'll stay at 2,000 feet now. I'm going to start to slow down into a flaps 27 nautical miles. We are going to start the descent down. So as we now slow down on our altitude, we can see the runways in sight. Go down to a flaps
Gear
20
down.
and gear down.
Flaps 20.
167 we're coming in for, which is going to be our 162 plus 5.
Gears down, green light.
So gears down, green light. We've got 186, which is in. We're just waiting for the glide slope now as the ILS has come to life. Once the glide slope comes down as it is, we are currently holding set. We've got to go around altitude, which is set and check. We'll get our runway turn off lights on now, and we can go for our landing checklist.
Landing checklist.
Gear.
Down and check.
Down and check. Flaps.
Checked, 30,
Hold on.
which will be going down in just a few moments' time. So we can check that off.
Ignition.
Flight start,
Flight start.
Anti-skid.
on
Check.
Altimeters.
1012, which is 2988,
1012.
which is
Set
cross-checked.
and cross-checked. Landing checklist completed.
Okay, so landing checklist is complete. We've got a runway turn-offs on, landing lights are all on and checked. And we are fully configured now to come down, so let's put 167 in. We'll go down into flaps 30.
Flaps 25. Flaps 30.
Okay, there's flaps 30, which is set. As we're now going to get the aircraft fully ready and configured. So 170 coming in. Just going to go us around
1,000.
256, 1,000, which is checked. I'm going to disconnect the autopilot and the auto throttle, and now I have control of the aircraft. As we continue that descent down, try and keep on our speed. There's 2 red, 2 white, so we can lift up a little now.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Continue.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Check reverse.
Okay, speed brakes are up.
Out
And buses are
reverse.
active.
Check reverse.
And there we are, guys, down in Sangster.
Out off reverse.
Buses can go off
60
now.
knots.
Auto brakes can be disarmed
Auto brake
as we
off.
just come round to the end of the runway. And there we are, guys, down in Sangster Airport for the flight of the evening. Hope you enjoyed the flight as much as I did. Hope you liked the navigation using the VOR, etc., and the RMI, which I'll do a tutorial on to show you guys. It makes life a lot easier once you know whereabouts you are and your positioning to the VOR. So as we get ready now to come off, we can set the speed brakes back in, we can get our flaps fully retracted as
Flaps
we get ready
up.
to vacate off of the runway. So welcome to Jamaica. So come round onto Alpha. Get a bit of power in as we just pass over, and we're now going to taxi on up to the gate of lovely Sangster, everybody. So hope you enjoyed the flight. We'll get the aircraft fully established, ready to go. I'm going to leave you with the landing cinematics, so don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to support the channel even further on our journey up to 2,000 subscribers, and I'll see you all very soon on the next available flight on the channel. So take care for now, guys, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.